When it comes to Cosmos as a project, am I concerned? Now, even though nothing I say is financial advice and I am not telling anyone to do anything, this is just my personal perspective on the situation. The short answer to that is no, right? I'm not concerned right now when it comes to Cosmos. Now, some people may be thinking, why? When it comes to Atom, they say that right now, $50 is around a 17x away. Like, that's how much Atom has gone down. I'm totally aware of that. But as of right now, it's not a specialized event where only Atom is not doing good. A bunch of altcoins are also not doing the best. So if that is the case, and a bunch of altcoins are not doing good, what I tend to focus on is the projects which I believe personally, not in anyone's perspective, but just in my personal perspective in this case, that have actual utility and I think have the actual fundamentals to maybe make it through during times when the market isn't doing the best. Which is why, personally, I am taking a look at Cosmos as one of my projects. Again, this is just my personal perspective, but the way you take a look at it is that when it comes to Cosmos, why do I like the utility? Well, it's because we have to take a look at kind of the purpose of it, right? And let me explain what I mean by this. The Cosmos blockchain uses a proof of stake consensus algorithm called Tendermint. Now, the unique thing about this is that Tendermint allows Cosmos to process up to 10,000 transactions per second. So I think that's pretty interesting in my perspective, even though I get it. Maybe Cosmos isn't the most popular project out there, but I think that's still a very impressive statistic in my perspective. Not to mention, Tendermint actually created a toolkit called the Cosmos SDK. Now, here's where I think things become a little bit more kind of entertaining, I would say, because SDK stands for Software Development Kit. And again, I mentioned about the Cosmos SDK. Now, what this does is that it allows application-specific blockchains to be built. Now, some people may be thinking, like, who's going to want to use that for application-specific blockchains? Well, let's take a look at the track record, for instance, right? There's currently over 50 Cosmos-based blockchains, such as the BNB chain. We take a look at Cronos. We take a look at Kava, and also many others. So, again, I don't think it's that bad. Just take a look at how massive Cronos is, how massive BNB is, even as of right now, despite the pullback. So, that's pretty impressive. Like, oftentimes out there, people don't really think about that, right? They don't really think about, oh, are those Cosmos-based blockchains? But then I think Cosmos, in that sense, is kind of a project that is a little bit, I would say, not as flashy, right? It's not as interesting because when I just take a look at Cosmos, even though it's accomplished kind of a lot historically speaking, it's not something that would just automatically feel to me that it is cool or interesting. It's something that I actually have to study a little bit. It's kind of like, if I were to put an analogy on it, an acquired taste. That's the way to take a look at it. It's not something I would automatically just find interesting, but the more I take a look at it, the more I just take a look at what it's already accomplished. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. But even besides that, if Atom hypothetically went to $50 for whatever reason, like the market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be around 24 billion. That's not going to make it the most popular of all time. It's not going to make it top 10 or something like that, especially if, let's say, there is an altcoin season. So I don't think Atom is going to be, making any new barriers or something like that, or breaking new milestones. But why don't I mind that nonetheless? Well, it's because, first of all, I am not into microcaps, so that's automatically something I'm not even looking for. But at the same time, I'm not looking for something that has a market cap that's way too massive. My criteria for this space, right, is just believing in a project which I believe have pretty decent fundamentals, I think pretty decent following, and also on top of that, a market cap that's not too massive, but then it's not like too small either. However, at the same time, before that kind of end of 2024 type of rally, which we saw of altcoins do pretty okay, in which Atom also did do, I think, pretty okay at that time. Before that happened, the market cap was around that 1.6, around that $1.7 billion range. As of right now, we're actually below that at around 1.4 billion. So that's just the way to take a look at it. I mean, the last time we saw Atom, right, dip below $1.5 billion in terms of market cap, that was what, back in 2020? I mean, that was a long time ago in my perspective. So what, we basically haven't seen a market cap this low in, what is this? Basically 5 years ago? Yeah, that's just the way to take a look at it. So to me, if I haven't seen these levels in around 5 years, and I was pretty excited even for Atom back then in 2024, 2023, right? Would I just give up right now? Yeah, I just don't know about that. I don't think I would actually, because I just haven't seen these levels in 5 years, which may seem like actually kind of not such a positive thing at first glance. But if my intention is to not exit, right? If my intention is to dollar cost average, seeing levels that I haven't seen in terms of market cap, at least in 5 years, basically, it's not something I'm going to necessarily complain about. Like, for instance, when Atom was at a market cap of around 5.5 billion, at around that $4 billion range, even at that point, a lot of my friends thought, oh, wow, they're dollar cost averaging like that, right? But then as of right now, that it's below 1.5 billion, I see a lot of my friends out there not wanting to dollar cost average anymore. And it's totally their choice. Like, I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But if, let's say, I like Atom at a market cap of above 2 billion, if I liked it at around 3 billion, now that it's around that 1.4, $1.3 billion range, I'm not just suddenly going to complain, because I didn't mind before when it was actually a lot better. Yeah, I mean, that's just my perception currently. When it comes to something like Atom, again, the market cap just literally back in September was over 2 billion. Now, historical performance doesn't guarantee future performance, but if, let's say, there's an altcoin season, I just want to be prepared, and that's it, by just dollar cost averaging, holding, and just waiting. Because, yeah, sure, I mean, Atom's not going to be the biggest thing out there, I think, in terms of a project, in terms of, market cap as well. But at the same time, when I take a look at just what it's done at times when the altcoin space was doing pretty okay, it's just something that I don't want to give up on. But this is just my perspective, and I'm going to stay patient by just dollar cost averaging once a month, and that's about it. Beyond that, I can't control when an altcoin season happens, because a lot of people like to ask me this, right? Oh, when is an altcoin season going to happen? I don't know, because I can't control that. Like, there's no way for me to find out the perfect moment and all this. I'm not going to be able to know that. An altcoin season is going to happen if it ever even does, whether I want it to or not. It's not dependent on me. So even if I pulled up a price chart and I drew a random triangle, or I, drew some lines or something like that, like, the market still isn't going to just care about that, right? So instead, what I do is I just focus on myself, because that's the only thing I can control. I'm going to be dollar cost averaging, holding, and just waiting. So yes, I get it. Cosmos isn't doing the best. And again, we take a look at many projects out there, they're not doing the best. But oftentimes people like to tell me, okay, if Cosmos has those fundamentals and it's achieved quite a lot, why is the price of Atom doing what it is as of right now? Why is it not doing good? Well, during a time when the space isn't doing the best, sometimes it doesn't really matter how well a project is doing, fundamentally. If the space isn't doing the best, if the altcoin market isn't doing the best either, sometimes you just see things kind of go down. And again, I just want to harp back to the point I mentioned earlier on the video. Like, a bunch of projects out there are having a pullback, right? Even some projects out there, to many people that are considered to not have good fundamentals, they're also having a pullback. But then the thing is, a lot of projects out there that are considered, in some cases, by other individuals to have good fundamentals, they're also having a pullback. So if the ones that don't have good fundamentals and the one that have good fundamentals are also both having a pullback, what am I going to focus on? Am I going to focus on the ones that don't have good fundamentals, in my perspective, or the ones that, in my perception, have pretty okay fundamentals? Well, of course, I'm going to try to focus on those ones. I'm not saying that this project is in this, section or that section. I'm not saying that. But this is just my perception, right? And I actually do like the fundamentals of Cosmos. It's like, for instance, the way I take a look at it is this. If, let's say, I'm looking for a t-shirt at a store, but then the thing is, at the store, both the tank top and the t-shirt is having a discount. But then I don't really need a tank top, right? So if they're both having a discount regardless, it doesn't matter if it's a t-shirt or the tank top, and I actually like the t-shirt more than the tank top, then I'm going to be choosing the t-shirt. That's just my point of view. That's just kind of the analogy that I'm using as of right now. And I want to say thank you for watching. I hope y'all have a nice day. It's Millie the Captain, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.